Happy Friday, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us on UpNorthLive Unscripted at 6:30. I am Maya Engel, and boy, it's a bit of a chilly Friday today. Joe warned us this was going to happen. We were going to have a little preview of fall, and it definitely feels like fall out there today, Joe. So my question is, and I already asked you this, I'm going to shoot a football game in Traverse City tonight. I was wondering if it's going to be rainy, but I'm sure there are parents and students all over northern Michigan going out to different games. Usually kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Will most of us see some rain tonight?
Off and on, it kind of depends. It's like lake effect rain, like we get snow. So some will see a little bit more than others. You know what, Maya? Usually we don't show graphics right off the top here. But since you're asking, I'm going to show the forecast for football games tonight. I'm just going to briefly pull this up here so you can kind of see what we are looking at with regard to those games. There it is. Notice temperatures, well, that's sweatshirt weather. They don't move a whole lot, though. So it'll be in the upper 40s at kickoff, and it's going to be the same thing to mid-50s by the end of the games. And I know that we cover, 26 counties. It depends where you're at, but there certainly is the chance for, showers across northern Michigan through the evening. So just be aware of that if you are by chance heading out this evening. I would tell you, though, Maya, just prepare maybe a couple showers around for that game that you're shooting this evening.
So it's not a bad idea to bring a sweatshirt or a jacket and an umbrella just to be safe.
Yeah, to be on the safe side.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, Joe. We'll check in with you again in a few minutes with more on our weekend forecast. But since it is feeling like fall and it is Friday, let's have a little bit of fun with our question of the day. What are you looking forward to most this fall season? Well, 29% of people say football. I did indeed vote for football. 8% said apple picking / apple cider. 53% said changing colors. 7% Halloween. And 3% pumpkin patches. I'm looking forward to everything, but football is really the one thing that helps me get into the fall spirit. I was just so happy yesterday when NFL football came back, and it's also fun with high school football being back, of course, college football. So that's what really gets me into the transition from summer to fall. But if you haven't voted yet, you can scan that QR code on your screen right now to vote. You can also leave a comment on this live stream if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, or you can leave a comment on our UpNorthLive Facebook page. I was looking at a few of the comments that we already have, and I want to share a couple of them with you. So the first one that comes up is from Rochelle, and she says, so again, the question was, what are you looking forward to the most this fall season? She says, all of the political campaigning and ads to be done. Can't disagree with that one. Terry says, new crop of apples. They taste so good. Avo says the fall colors and our apple crop. Edward says snowmobile season, so he's kind of looking ahead to winter already. Starla says cooler temperatures and warm apple cider. Ooh, Thomas says deer hunting. I'm actually surprised that one's not on our poll already. Reg says cold nights and fresh apples. Debbie says wearing sweatshirts. So yeah, please go ahead and leave a comment if you would like to, or you can, again, scan that QR code on your screen right now to vote. So we will come back to our question of the day a little later, but let's start off with our top story, and that was President Joe Biden was back in our state once again today. He was in Ann Arbor this afternoon. He was highlighting his Investing in America agenda at the UA 190 Training Center and his work that the administration has done for union workers. So Carter Landis with our sister station down in Kalamazoo, he was in Ann Arbor with more on what the president had to say today.
Biden may not be seeking re-election in November, but he's still on the campaign trail, speaking today in front of union workers in Ann Arbor. He also signed an executive order that would provide more opportunities to working-class families. The Good Jobs executive order is intended to promote strong workplace safety and higher wages for union workers. The order would apply to all manufacturing jobs, not just construction, according to Biden. He says it will allow federal agencies greater oversight to ensuring workers have more power, protections, and fair choices to unionize. But the president also spent time today to talk about his time since he entered office. He says he's always been pro-worker and is the strongest pro-union president in history. The president received a loud standing ovation when he mentioned he was the first president to walk a picket line. He also took a few shots at Republican presidential nominee and former President Donald Trump, saying he has been harmful for unions and workers in Michigan.
Walk the picket line with UAW workers here in Michigan. Kamala walked it as well. But Trump Trump would much rather cross a picket line than walk one.
President Biden says he and Vice President Harris will continue to fight for workers in Michigan. Entering and leaving the stage, he was serenaded with chants of "Thank you, Joe." In Ann Arbor, I'm Carter Landis.
And following the president's visit to Michigan today, the Michigan GOP released a statement that says, quote, Joe's trip to Michigan is another sickening reminder to every Michigander that a Kamala presidency would be another 4 years of historic inflation, high prices, and lost jobs to electric vehicles. Despite Kamala and Joe's best efforts, Michigan voters know that only President Donald J. Trump offers the common sense solutions that will make Michigan great again. And another politician was in our state today, and that is the U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. He was in Lansing to speak with union workers. He also joined the Lansing Mayor Andy Shore and union members working on projects in the state's capital. Then he later on joined Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin at a construction project funded by President Biden's infrastructure law. He said more than $36 million is going into the project, meant to make M127 safer and less congested. Let's take a listen to what else he had to say.
Mayors like Mayor Shore look at their vision for a growing economy and a safer community and better transportation systems. That's no longer just ideas on the drawing board. It's turning into reality because the funding is finally here.
And Secretary Buttigieg said 175,000 miles of roadway nationwide are being improved as part of these projects, and 192,000 EV charging stations are now operating, doubling what has been installed when the president took office. Now let's turn things over a little closer to home to some local news, a pretty cool story that our reporter and anchor Mark Gillette has been working on. So chances are you probably have that one teacher that really stood out to you, probably at the time while you were in their class, but then also later on in life, you just kind of thought about how big the impact the teacher had was on you. And there's a new class at a Northern Michigan high school. It's the first of its kind up in our area. And it may be safe to say that for dozens of students, this class may be the one where lessons are learned that will last a whole lifetime. So here is Mark Gillette with that story.
To see what happens with it, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous.
A little nervous on the first day of school to walk through the door here at room 18 at Kingsley High.
You have to do this thing when you go into the classroom. You have to announce your name. You have to request to come aboard into the classroom.
Yep, you have to request permission to come aboard if you're walking in here. You see, this isn't your typical high school classroom. And Gunnery Sergeant Matthew Barb isn't your typical high school teacher.
Served 15 years in the infantry, fought in Iraq and Afghanistan multiple times, been to 40 different countries all over the world. I was trained as an infantry unit leader, scout sniper unit leader, mortar unit leader, martial arts instructor, so did a lot of different things.
And today, dressed as you would expect, he's doing something you might not.
My job now is a senior naval science instructor for Kingsley High School. New program, the Junior ROTC program.
New, as in the Navy's program, is in day 3 here at Kingsley, the first school in northern Michigan to offer the class. The classwork counts as a physical education course, but the lessons learned go far beyond.
They get to learn a lot of life skills in here, gain confidence in themselves, and that's what really we focus on, is overcoming their fears to make them better leaders. So I told them day one they're going to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Skills will be developed through coursework here and honed with a wide range of activities outside the classroom.
I'd personally like to be a better leader and grow my own strengths and my own decision making.
That can happen here because there's just something about the tone here that hits a little differently.
A lot more professional than my other classrooms. I feel like I can actually focus in here.
Gunnery Sergeant Barr runs a tight ship because he knows the positive impact a military lifestyle can have. But he's also well aware the difference a person at the front of the class can make.
Some of my most influential people in my life were my teachers growing up. I'm from Sheboygan, Michigan, and so I still keep in contact with them, and they made me who I am today, and so I love to give back to those, the youth of tomorrow.
The Navy Junior ROTC program exposes students to the standards and expectations of the military. Even though many of these students have no intention of serving, the belief is that the skills developed here will serve any of them well, regardless of what the future holds.
Military service members are sought after by Fortune 500 companies, by colleges, because the intangible traits that we carry when we go to the military that are instilled in us from day one, which are justice, judgment, dependability, loyalty, tact, integrity. We have them on the board here. Endurance, bearing, self-reliance. And these are things that they're going to gain in my class as well.
That was Mark Gillette reporting. And at Kingsley High School, there are around 400 students, and roughly 60 of those students are already enrolled in that program. And organizers say it's not too late to get involved this school year, and they expect the program to grow even more after the students who are currently taking the class share their experiences with others. So let's kind of go back to our question of the day here. We have a few more minutes and we need to take our first commercial break. So if you haven't voted yet, this would be a great time to do so. What are you looking forward to most this fall season? Is it football? Maybe some apple picking, apple cider, the change of colors, Halloween, pumpkin patches? Right now, more than half of voters are saying the changing colors, and that is such a great part of fall. But I'm going to head to our website because I'm just curious how many people have voted so far. So 216 people have already voted. So let's see if we can get that number up a little higher, shall we? So I'll pull up that QR code again on your screen right now so you can vote. And you can also leave a comment. I really like these days, especially on Fridays, where our question of the day is a little more fun and not so serious. So let's start a conversation about it, shall we? Because it's almost fall. We still have a couple weeks, but today certainly is feeling like fall. And I know a lot of us are getting in the fall mood with that weather. I made a nice little brown sugar cinnamon latte coffee today just to kind of get into the spirit. But then next week when it's back to 80 degrees, I'll be back to drinking just my plain iced coffee. No brown sugar, no cinnamon. We'll save that for the colder temperatures. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. If you are watching on your phone or tablet or computer on Facebook or YouTube, during this commercial break, I will keep up the question of the day on your screen. So you can vote during the commercial break. And if you're watching on ABC 29 and 8, I'll pull it up again a little bit later. So you still have a chance to scan that QR and vote. But we will check in with our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix. He'll have much more on what we can expect this weekend. And like I mentioned, it's going to warm up again next week, but I'm curious of how long that will last. So Joe will fill us in on all things weather related in just a few minutes. Let's bring in Joe for more on the weather. But before the weather, Joe, I'm curious what you think about our question of the day. And I have a feeling I might know what your answer would be, but what's your favorite part about
Pumpkin patches, obviously.
Obviously. You're there
Yeah,
every
those
day.
are fun. I know my kids love doing that, or they did when they were younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, football.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, my Packers play tonight, so we'll see how that goes. You guys have the Rams, right? Sunday night.
Rams Sunday night.
Yeah, should be
Gonna
a
be
good one
a good one.
for sure. Well, it definitely feels like football weather tonight, especially for those heading out to the high school games. I imagine they probably already left if they are heading out here. Let's start off with a look at our time lapse over Cadillac, and this is kind of what it looked like, only all sped up today. They're over Wexford County. A little bit of blue sky poking through at times today, but also showers. By the way, if you look in the bottom there, the Cadillac Commons busy today. A lot of people there a little earlier. Here's what's going on. We have a cold front that passed through last night. There it is. East of us now, near Toronto and Columbus, Ohio. That boundary has brought in cooler weather, and these are the current temperatures right now. You know, last night we had a lot of lows in the 50s, and that's where we stayed all day today. We just didn't really budge much at all with a wind out of the north. In fact, many of these areas are running a solid 10 to 15 degrees below normal. This is the departure from where we should be this time of the year as we take a look there. Let's take a look at our temperature trend. So, yes, it's cool today, and we're going to see that tomorrow. But look at later in the week. So we have fall. We also have summer warmth in our extended forecast here. The coolest day by a wide margin will be tomorrow. We're back near 70, at least upper 60s Sunday, and then we get into the 80s and probably well into the 80s next week. Probably some humidity with that too. Radar tonight showing some of these showers spinning through northern Michigan. There they are. They're light, but rain nonetheless for some spots. Meanwhile, off to our west, take a look here. This is in northern Wisconsin. There's a frost advisory over there tonight. We're not going to get any frost here. In fact, as we take a look at the lows, around the Midwest or around the Western Lakes tonight, 40s here, but you can see over in Wisconsin there, chance for a little bit of patchy frost. It'll be a little cooler that way. Here's our forecast on Stormcast. Showers tonight, showers tomorrow morning, winding down in the afternoon. And then as we head into Sunday, it looks pretty quiet during the day on Sunday. One other thing I want to point out here. So take a look at this. You see Michigan. We'll zoom in here. Sault Ste. Marie. This is Saturday night, early Sunday. That's snow.
Oh, boy.
Up there, northeast of Sault Ste. Marie. You got to get up there in Ontario, north of Sudbury, to see that. But that is some snow. There could see a little bit of snow mixing in way up there. Of course, it's not going to last very long. One more thing, sunset tracker. We always keep track of that. At one point in June, sunset was around 9:32. Now, we've already in the evenings lost about an hour and a half. It's 8:05 tonight. These are average numbers around the region. A week from now, 7:52. And in 3 weeks, toward the end of the month, sunset around 7:30 coming up here. Here's our extended forecast. And it's pretty straightforward. Still some showers tomorrow with highs in the 50s for most areas. Near 70 on Sunday. And then look at next week. We have 70s Monday, and then we start warming up. And we're going to stay there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it actually will be warm. And, it's hard to think about today, Maya, when it's in the 50s. But you may need the fan or the AC later next week once again coming up.
Just like a complete 180, but
yeah,
that's northern Michigan for you.
Yep.
All right. Thanks so much, Joe. We are going to take another quick commercial break. But when we come back, we'll check in with Sports Director Harrison Beebe. We are about 10 minutes away from kickoff for week 2 of high school football, and he is at one of those games, and we'll have a preview straight after the break. Week 2 of high school football is getting underway in just a couple of minutes, so let's check in with our sports director, Harrison Beebe, who is live at one of those matchups tonight. Hey, Harrison.
That is correct. I'm live at one of those matchups.
I forgot where you are.
It's okay. It's okay, Maya. You have other stuff to worry about. I'm technically in charge of the sports department. So I'm here at Johannesburg, Lewiston. So one of 3 games. It's a rare attempt for me to get 3 games in one night, although I'll give my secret away. One of my games starts at 7:30, so that's going to give me the flexibility to do that. The problem for me is I'm in the Gaylord, Otsego County area, and I'll need to get back in time to do the big show tonight. Just after 11 o'clock. So that'll be the fun part when I get back home, and you'll see me all stressed and bothered at 10:30. But we won't worry about that just yet. We'll worry about the games at hand, which get started in just a few minutes. As you said, Johannesburg Lewiston hosting East Jordan, the reigning champions in the NMFC Legacy Division, and this is a conference matchup tonight. Both these teams coming off a win a week ago. East Jordan looks like they're going to be tough to beat again, but Joe Smokovich, I know the head coach at Joburg here pretty well. I know he has his teams ready for any and all challenges. So we'll see if they can put up a fight with the Red Devils tonight. And then next stop for me will be the 2 games in Gaylord and Kingsley meeting up. A rare matchup of those two both being 0-1, and they were 2 of our best teams a year ago. So the fact that one of them is going to be 0-2 in just a few hours is kind of interesting, but that's how it goes sometimes. Then after that, we get a little 8-man covered with Gaylord, St. Mary, and Central Lake.
And then I will be covering a game here in Traverse City Central versus Parm West.
Parma Western. They're Jackson Parma Western. They're down in Jackson County, I believe. So it's south of Lansing there. So yeah, it'll be a downstate team coming up to play the Trojans. Trojans looking to go 2-0 if they can get a win. They haven't been 2-0. It'll be in our intro tonight to give away some of the scripts we already wrote since 2020. So it's been a few years for the Trojans. That included the year they made the state finals. They did not start 2-0. So.
Wow.
Not an easy thing to do. We've also got games covered in Petoskey and Harbor Springs tonight. I know Cody Bear, our weekend anchor, is covering sports tonight. He'll be down in Cadillac and Lake City. And our game of the week is actually in Frankfort. Glen Lake and Frankfort meeting up 2 classic rivals who are also in this same conference that East Jordan and Joburg are in. They're scoring off tonight as well. So another loaded night here for week 2, but we wouldn't have any better. And you know what, for how chilly it's getting, we could use some hot matchups.
There you go. So a full lineup of high school football games tonight on Hometown Highlights. So Harrison, good luck getting back in time.
And can I make my pick? Can I make my pick for the poll today?
Oh, yes. Let me pull that up. Of course.
Halloween, 100%. I love football, but I see football for me goes through into the new year, but Halloween is exclusively fall, and I make the whole month of October about Halloween, not just October 31st. So yeah, Halloween is definitely what I look forward to in fall.
All right. Good to know, Harrison. Thank you so much. I know everyone's been wanting to know what you thought about this
I wanted to make that be public. Yep.
All right, Harrison, have fun at those games tonight, and we are going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back in just a few minutes. It certainly feels like fall out there tonight, so our question of the day is pretty fitting. What are you looking forward to the most this fall season? 52% of people say the changing colors. I don't blame them. That is a beautiful part of fall. 28% say football. I'm there with you. 8% apple picking and apple cider. 7% say Halloween. Harrison Beebe was one of those. And then 5% say pumpkin patches. So thanks so much for all who voted on our question of the day and for joining us tonight on Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30. Stay warm out there this weekend, and everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Take care.